How are you doing? Unfortunately, my Tom Ferry interview that I was so excited about this morning on our daily discussion or daily financial news got postponed. He's a busy man. Totally get it. Totally okay. But as you could probably tell at the end of that session when I told you it was coming, I was pretty excited. And that's because Tom Ferry is one of those people I watch, uh, to kind of see what he's putting out, watch his energy level. Um, he's a positive individual. He's out there helping people all the time. So um, I was really looking forward to it. And of course, if you're about to talk to one of your heroes and somebody you look up to, you kind of prepare, right? You don't know where the conversation is going to go, but you prepare some thoughts. So I was ready for it, and I just wanted to share with you because I feel like I put this together. I wanted to share with you where I thought our conversations might go. So first off, if you don't know, I was lucky enough to interview Tom Ferry. I think it was 3 months ago. I think it was in December. I'll see if I can find the video and post the link below. But that was an amazing interview. So many things discussed, so many stories shared. And one of the quotes that I took from that interview was 2020 is going to be bananas. And I've quoted that a few times. I actually created a quote that I've shared, given Tom full credit for that quote. And little did we know how right he was, or is, I guess we should say. So when we had that discussion, we were both under the impression that with low unemployment, low interest rates, low listings, that real estate was going to take off, right? We both, thought that the prices would go higher. Obviously, since that discussion, we've had this event that started over in Asia and is roiling the economy and the stock market. So I actually prepared kind of a talk track, um, kind of walking where we've been to kind of where we are. And really, it's under kind of my expertise of watching the consumer and how that might impact real estate agents. So bear with me as I kind of walk this path that I had created. So first off, kind of recognize where we were, kind of discuss what we just did, right? We were talking in December and the market has drastically changed. And again, it's the consumer, right? I call it the consumer. Tom or his brokers or his agents might call it buyers, right? Owner occupant buyers. And the owner occupant buyer and listing agent, right? Because there's two sides of a real estate transaction. People list their home and people make offers. Both of those people, my opinion, watching consumer behavior, are scared. And when people are scared, they generally uh, won't make decisions about their most expensive thing that they either own, i.e., list, or buy, i.e., buyers. So we were going to probably talk about that for a little while because that's kind of something I watch for every day. And I'm sure Tom has seen this over and over and over again. Kind of very much like 9/11, kind of that gap that was created. It came out of nowhere, was a shock. The American consumer was, oh, pull back, don't know what's going on. Kind of very much like that. Um, the second thing we would talk about is why I think this is a great time for brokers and agents. This is the time where I think agents and brokers will certify their positions in the market. Whether we want to admit it or not, it has generally been smooth sailing the last 10 years, generally up prices, generally good transactions, generally good lending. Business got done. I don't know the numbers. I'm sure Tom would. That uh, real estate agent licensees probably has grown significantly. And when sudden market shifts happen, historically speaking, we would see maybe a decline in what I would call the soft hands, or the people not really committed. They would go do something else. Because I envision less listings, at least for several months, because who wants to invite strangers into their open house? You're going to have less buyers because who wants to go see open houses? And we're just gonna sit tight. So I think this is the time where brokers and agents need to really get focused on one particular set of the market. Even in 2009 and 10, in depths of the real estate recession, transactions were getting done, and both REOs and short sales, but also normal sales. And this is probably where Tom and I would talk a bunch, because motivated sellers happen, right? And that's why I think 2020 is going to be magical for both agents, brokers, and investors. Is if you can become someone known for helping people that have to sell, and you can find them and talk to them, and if you as a buyer or investor can find them and talk to them, business will get done. That could be pre-foreclosures, that could be people with imperfect properties, it could be probate sales, job transfers. There are going to be people that have to sell. And it's the agents and brokers who focus on that and getting good on that, that you are going to be very successful. That will help the listing side. And then as far as the buying side, I believe real estate agents and brokers really need to look for investors. There are investors all over the country that will make decisions and commit capital in this changing environment. We were buying lots of property in 2010 when nobody else was around. I think 2020 could be a similar environment. So, real estate and agents and brokers, my words of advice to them would be get good on identifying potential listings, right? Look for the people that are motivated and have to sell for some reason, job loss, pre-foreclosure, something. And then look for buyers that can transact. Because again, at least for the next 6 months, it's probably going to be very choppy. And I'm sure Tom would have had great stories and examples, and have some great advice for all of us. And I'm sure we'll get to that in a couple of weeks when this is rescheduled. That would be my discussion. So at the end, for me, it would be really communicating to real estate agents and brokers that business will go on. It may be a little tougher, but environments like this are actually good. It washes out the weak hands that may pick off one or two listings here and there. It strengthens, the offices that are focused on helping clients that are in need of selling, called motivated sellers. If you create relationships with investors that can transact, you can get stuff done, even if the property's not perfect, doesn't qualify FHA, needs a bunch of work, wants to own or finance versus sell. So what I would tell real estate agents and brokers is 2020 is going to be bananas, again, to quote Tom Ferry. But you're going to have to work a little harder. You would have to be good at identifying owners that need to sell. And then you're going to have to work to find cash buyers and investors. I think it's going to be a great time. I plan to buy more property in 2020 than I did in 18 and 19 combined, because again, I watch my market. I see what's going on. I see consumers, owner-occupant buyers disappearing. And, as I wrote about in the book that Tom has a copy of, that was a great time. Right? When owner occupants retreat, it is a wonderful time to be an investor. So that's where I was going to take the conversation with Tom, or Mr. Ferry, or one of my heroes, where I thought we would go. We'll see, because again, he has far more experience, talks to a lot more people, has coverage of the entire U.S. So I would love to hear his thoughts. I'm sure his examples would be wonderful. So I look forward to talking to him again someday. But this list of things I prepared, I had to get off my chest because I was just so excited. All right, everybody, have a wonderful day. And if you're not following Tom Ferry on social media, do yourself a favor and go check him out. Puts a smile on my face every day. All right, take care. Bye.